Oh, hello, everybody. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how Jey Uso is the next tribal chief. MJF has a new challenger, baby, and it's also been a good day in Detroit at Against All Odds last week. Be sure to hang it with us as we discuss these things today on. Welcome back, everybody. I'm, of course, Pierre, and I'm with the crew as always, Clint, Curtis, and Jonathan. So we got some things to talk about today. So today we're going to start with Impact today of all companies. Been some two major title changes. We have Chris Sabin becoming the new X Division champ, and of course Alex Shelley, first time ever being a world champ solo. So fellas, what do you think about the title changes that took place at Against All Odds last week?
Well,
I was I was shocked that they did it so soon because remember it's not hasn't even been 2 months where Josh Alexander had to relinquish the title, and then next thing you know, we got Macklin as the champion, and then all of a sudden we got a new champion. I'm like, okay, I get that Alex Shelley deserves it, and he does because he's been in the game for like forever.
right,
And
and Impact as well, forever.
but
Exactly.
but why so but you got to wonder why so soon. But I'm not going to complain for Alex Shelley. Like I said, he deserves it. Kudos to him. And I mean, and this is kind of like a Mark Henry situation for me because you like to see guys who've been in the game working hard and they're very talented, and you just love to finally see them get their just due.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I just hope they're not making him a transitional champion because they're kind of also hinting at Aldis getting a shot, and I'm hoping they're not immediately going to put the title on Nick Aldis. He's still new to Impact, so you don't want to start immediately, giving outsiders, so to speak, your world title as soon as they get there. Make him work for a while and earn it. That's one thing I will say AEW does well. That Impact and TNA in the past were notorious for just throwing their belts in any new talent that came from WWE. Let all this work for it and earn it, and let Alex Shelley enjoy a nice long title reign. But yeah, I'm happy for him, and it's cool to see both of the Machine Guns carrying the top two belts in the company. So that's cool, also.
They had their Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero at WrestleMania moment,
Yeah, exactly.
afterwards, which was kind of cool to see that. What do you think, Nuxie?
I wouldn't say Aldis is an outsider. I mean, he was there before it was Impact. So,
Well, true,
but I'm a
true.
Yeah,
shouldn't they should let Shelley beat him just for now, so they don't just make him a 1 month champion. I was getting, I cracked on Macklin. We talked about this off air, but I wasn't impressed by Macklin. But the last couple of months, that guy's grown on me. He's kind of they kind of put him with Bully Ray, but I didn't really think he needed that either. But he beat he and PCO beat the hell out of each other all over the place. And
Oh yeah.
yes.
I thought
That
Mac
was that was a match.
he's married to Deanna Perrazzo. If you guys didn't know that,
Good looking woman, by the way. But and that
Also
goes
a good
to
wrestler.
something.
Also a good wrestler.
And one of the sweetest people ever. I had the honor of meeting her. But that goes to another thing that Clint was talking about, which is immediately throwing a world title on an outsider. She's going to be facing Trinity at Slammiversary, and I don't believe in Trinity hasn't even had a handful of matches yet. She's barely been in it for a cup of coffee, and then all of a sudden, okay, she asked for a title match. Okay, you get one. There it is. So
It's way too soon to put the belt on her.
I mean, it brings more light to Deanna being the champ, even though Deanna had a name because you put Trinity with it. Everybody knows who Trinity is.
Yeah.
Of course, it helps boost the prestige of the title a little bit to have someone like her chasing it. But at the same time, the Impact needs to do a little bit better job of promoting some of the wrestlers that's been there for a minute more. I mean, they're doing that with Shelley now, giving him a title run, which is cool. But you still got some other talent that probably need to be boosted up just as much. Because if you guys saw the dog collar match, that was a crazy match.
Brutal, yeah.
Yeah.
Masha Slamovich.
Oh man.
Right.
I've been impressed with her. I just like to see her do like a little bit more. Just don't give her the title too early. Just let her be a little more dominant before you even think about even putting her in a title match, let alone putting the belt on her.
I think she's had one singles match, hasn't she? Since she's been there that I've seen. She had a tag match with Deanna. Maybe she's had a couple of singles matches, but I don't know. She hasn't had too many one-on-one matches that I've seen.
I mean, I know she's had.
She had a match with Jordan Grace, didn't she?
I think she did. If I'm not mistaken.
I can't remember if it was earlier this year or last year, but they did have a match.
Yeah, I think it may have been like earlier this year, and now, and of course, she being Jordan Grace now a free agent. That's why she got written off. So I'd like to see where she ends up. And
she's not nearly as more agile now.
Yeah, I would like to see.
You think Tony Khan's going to try to snatch her up?
Why not? He snatches everybody else up.
I mean, he doesn't need to hire anyone else. I mean, don't hire any more women until you fix your women's division right now.
Let her wrestle Honor against Athena. Let her wrestle somebody.
There we go.
Yeah, now they're trying to push Kiera Hogan to go against Athena right now for the ROH Women's title. So I think that could be a good program overall, how they pushed it a little bit. So that definitely could work. But yeah, I think Trinity still needs more work because I know she practiced and trained before getting back in the ring, but I think she still needs about at least another good 6 months to kind of be like ring ready where she was before she left with Mercedes Moné. So give her that time. So maybe around Christmas time, she could be back in the running for the women's title and actually look like, okay, we could put the title on her now because she can carry it. But in the meantime, let Deanna enjoy a good run at the very least.
I didn't say this. Sabe and Shelley are one of the best tag teams ever. They both of those guys deserve everything they get. Shelley, one of the most odd people I ever met in my life, but also very friendly. So I'll say that.
Oh yes.
I don't know where the picture is, but
yeah, it was well deserved. I mean, long overdue in my opinion, because
both great.
Yeah, because he's a great wrestler overall. I mean,
Saban. Sorry.
I was going to say, especially considering he's one of the guys who helped build the company.
Saban's
exactly
division champion, right?
He's been division champ before. He's been world champ before, so he's held titles in the company solo. Shelley just nothing above X division, other than the world tag.
Yeah, well, I mean, they got two. I mean, Shelley's a star now. Well, he's been a star, but Macklin's been elevated to a world champion, so he's been made a star, even if he doesn't get the belt back anytime soon. So, kudos to Scott D'Amore because he apparently seems to get it, unlike our buddy Kooky Tony, who always looks like in the headlights every time you see him doing an announcement. He's like,
"Oh, Lord.
Thanks, guys."
Back to you in Ringside.
Say what I think that is.
Well, speaking of Tony and his company AEW, Dynamite was a very interesting show, to say the least. Now we're building a new storyline, and there's some who predicted that MJF's next opponent should be Adam Cole. And what do you know? We get a nice, Adam Cole, baby. We got a nice promo between the two. And of course, MJF does what he does on the mic. Adam Cole shows that he can also do the same on the mic. So, fellas, what do you think about what happened on Dynamite, especially given that now we're going to start a program between MJF and Adam Cole?
That promo was promo 101.
Yeah.
Dusty was smiling down from the heavens when he listened to that. I mean, just MJF is just money. Just money.
He is on the mic. He is definitely money.
Yeah, just silky smooth. And Adam Cole, I mean, it was great both ways. It was just great. It was personal. You could feel it. It felt real.
Definitely.
And you know what? Those guys are going to tear the house down when they wrestle.
They are.
Oh yes, it's like
the thing
on the mic. It's almost like it's putting mustard on a hot dog. It just feels right, and you already know they are going to give you something special in the ring. And man, as now, my only concern, can we build on it? Tony Khan, I'm talking to you. Let's build on this. Let's keep
Well, I got to say, MJF seems to be the one thing that Tony Khan can't mess up. So, I mean, MJF versus Adam Cole pretty much writes itself. He can't possibly screw this up, right?
Maybe MJF has creative
Right.
control now. Maybe when he re-signed his contract, he got creative control because I'm with you, Clinton. His storyline seemed to be symmetrical and make sense.
Yeah.
When he re-signed or got more money or whatever, he said, all right, well, I need creative control if I'm going to not just stay at home and play the video game, and I'm going to really wrestle.
I mean, MJF is MJF, and the fact that he is a troll, and not just the basic troll, like to go into the deep stuff, like realizing that, about how the gimmick was for Adam Cole to be the manager
Of
of
Keith
Keith
Lee,
Lee
yeah.
at one point. Shaving his head and all that, like only if you truly read the dirt sheets do you know that stuff. And the way he incorporated that into the promo was good. But Adam Cole shot back with the let's go in the back, pee in the cup, and let's see who's natural. That was an epic comeback.
Wow, yeah.
I like that, but I also like, I'm not even going to talk about Britt because I'm pretty sure she can kick your ass. That was great.
Well, yeah.
Hey,
exactly.
Hey, I know good Patty when I see it, and I can appreciate that good Patty.
I don't think MJF does roids. I really don't. He's not like.
I don't think so.
I think he's pretty much kept the same size since I've seen him first on AEW. Now, I think he was a little smaller in the other independents like CZW or MLW and a couple other places, but he wasn't much smaller than what he is. He wasn't that much smaller than like what he is now as far as size wise. So,
Billy wants to ask what type of steroids you're on. So that's a great question. I am all natural, 110% kosher beef. Okay.
I think he's natural.
I mean, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like the wrestling business kind of moved on from the whole steroid thing because you don't see a lot of huge guys these days. You don't see Hulk Hogan's and Goldbergs and Rybacks all over the place. You got, your
Brian Cage and Will Powerhouse makes you think second though.
But it's not as prevalent. You don't have as many of those guys, You've got your Brian Cage and your Bobby Lashley, who you have to kind of wonder about, but then you've also got your Adam Coles and your MJFs and your Danielsons and your Moxleys. You're not going to look at John Moxley and think steroids.
What a waste.
Yeah, those guys used to be a dime a dozen in the 90s. Now, not so much.
Look at Chris Adonis or Chris Masterpiece or Chris.
Oh, yeah. He has gotten so much smaller.
He was on the juice, I'm pretty sure, when he was in WWE. And now he's not, his body's still good. I'm not saying because, he's in way better shape than I'll ever be, probably. But he looks totally different. Yeah. He's not nearly as massive as it was.
Yeah, it's a lean muscular, not a muscular like he used to be.
He was jacked back in the day when he was
now he's more ripped.
Right. So what do you guys think about what happened with the Blackpool Combat Club taking on Chaos with Bryan Danielson pretty much on commentary, which is a good buildup for Okada versus Bryan Danielson at Forbidden Door. What do you think about that?
Which is going to bring Okada into that whole elite back club thing we got going on because they said Kenny's gone. He's not in Canada. He's gone. He's in Japan recruiting is where he is. And I believe Ibushi and Okada will be in that mess.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That'll be blood and guts.
It's got to be Okada since you already setting up this match for Forbidden Door. So at Wembley, you can see the full-on Elite taking the full-on Blackpool Combat Club to kind of flesh everything out. Because I believe next week it's the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club as far as just the Young Bucks and Adam Page versus
Three Stooges.
yeah, right. So it's not the full it's not the full on Elite, but it's still there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I definitely enjoy. I never thought I would say this in life, but I actually enjoy Bryan Danielson on commentary, and his and good heel work. I mean, that's something I probably would have liked to have seen a little bit more in WWE, but unfortunately people cheered him too much and then kept making him face.
He's always been funny though. He's always had a good. He's got a great personality. He's got bombastic personality.
I mean, exactly. I mean, those skits he used to do with Kane backstage when they were Team Hell No were classically funny.
And that gimmick was that whole angle was so stupid, but they made it work.
Therapy sessions and stuff. Those were epic.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Bully Ray once said. Sometimes the stupid stuff is what gets over.
Yeah.
And how many stars do you think Okada Danielson's going to get? 15? I mean, that's going to be incredible.
I mean, the match already has 8 stars for Meltzer.
I already just make the money. Those 2 matches that they announced. I mean, I was watching a podcast on YouTube, Wrestle Talk or something. I forget, one of those British ones. The guy's like, there's 2 matches. Just let them fight for 4 hours. I'd watch that. I was like, hell yeah, I'd watch.
Well, the rumor is they're trying to get Kenta and Punk.
Yeah, I think Kenta do. Like,
I would actually like to see that.
Those 3 matches would be worth the whole show.
I'd watch that too, but
it really would.
I don't think Kenta wants to wrestle CM Punk. I was seeing that somewhere.
Nah, if Tony's gonna pay him the money, he wants to wrestle Punk, but Tony's got to give him the money first. He said no, show me the bag and I'll go.
I like it. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, just with those 3 matches that he set up so far for Forbidden Door is going to be very interesting. Yeah. Especially with Ospreay and Omega is going to be a incredible match, but I think Okada and Danielson is probably going to steal the show.
It might be better than that,
in my opinion.
Those are 2 6-star matches if you're Dave Meltzer. I mean, those are matches.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. If you're booking Forbidden Door, who do you put Jay White with? Who do you put him against?
Punk wants to wrestle him, so maybe. Well, they're both in AEW, so
yeah, they're both in AEW.
Wrestle Finley. Why not wrestle David Finley?
Yeah,
that's what I.
Match, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could do that, yeah.
Or anybody. Wrestle anybody, I guess. I don't know who. Tanahashi. That'd be a great match. There's no build up. I mean, but there really doesn't have to be a build up. Honestly, he's a fan, so he's probably got some kind of a storyline with everybody there. Honestly, some kind of history.
Heck, I'd even put him with Jonathan Gresham just for no reason.
I mean, with last year's Forbidden Door, I don't think half the matches had a story. It was just here's a match, go out there and wrestle. And they did that, and it was good enough.
Big pop.
Yeah.
I mean, Forbidden Door could just be like your fantasy booking, like we did.
Yeah, just the fact that
that could just strictly be it.
About him and Sabre, that'd be a great match. It wouldn't have to be a TV title match because it's only 15 minutes, but or Jeff Cobb, one of those 2 guys against Jay White to show people what Jay White can do. Because honestly, the time he's been in AEW, people haven't really seen how great a wrestler he is.
Well, that's Tony Khan's fault.
He's having these short matches with Juice as a tag partner or against Ricky Starks or whatever. Maybe now they got an extra show, they can start showcasing people more often.
Well, I mean, I feel for someone like, I see what Tony maybe is trying to do as far as with the whole Ricky Starks and Jay White thing, like trying to capitalize some of the pop and some of the push that Ricky had or has to try to match with Jay White to kind of put him more over the heel. But the thing is, you let Ricky Starks drop down so low, it don't mean as much as it could have, say, 6 months ago or to a year ago, where he was like red hot, and you thought, okay, he could be a guy that could challenge for the title.
Yeah, it doesn't work if you don't elevate both guys. You can't bring one guy down. You're supposed to bring both guys up.
Which show is he going to be on? Is he on Collision or Dynamite still?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I guess we'll
That's a
find
good
that
question.
out. Yeah, I guess we'll find out, Saturday, but who knows?
Yeah, well, we'll definitely be looking forward to that to see how Collision goes Saturday. But not even the major news, the ongoing saga, if you will, of the Bloodline, seeing Jey Uso being offered a deal by Paul Heyman to rejoin the Bloodline, and in the midst of that, getting a U.S. title shot versus Austin Theory, and with Paul basically telling Jey he's going to be the next tribal chief whenever Roman steps down. But of course, shenanigans always happen. So now we're back at another crossroads in another direction. So, guys, tell me, what do you think about the Bloodline storyline as it's going forward now, especially given the events that happened on SmackDown last week?
I'll say that. Now, I believe it was last week on Raw. Paul Heyman put over, okay, Jay's going to make this decision. And of course, the show's built around the decision. No decision made. You don't get that a lot with storylines like this, but I liked it. And what makes it interesting was the caveat after the US title match, he basically said, look, if you're still and you being Paul Heyman, if Paul Heyman's still in the bloodline, he doesn't want any part in it. So that adds so that caveat's going to be real interesting. I'm like, and when I heard that, I'm like, Triple H has got to be playing with so many solutions to this as we speak. And but like, when is it Friday yet? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. I mean, it's
basically
not even, last week it was, who's going to side with who's going to take whose side. And now it seems like everyone's going their own direction. I think by the time it's all over with, everyone in the bloodline will be a single star. Solo's going to go his own way, maybe with Paul Heyman. I think Jay is going to go we may see the Usos break up when it's over with. But, Roman is going to end up by himself by the time next year's WrestleMania comes along and he's fighting Cody again.
And I'm definitely looking forward to, okay, how is Roman gonna come out of this? How's he gonna look when the whole thing just breaks down and he finally finds himself on his own? This storyline, it just seems like just when you think you found a peak to it and you can't add any more layers to it, here's 5 more layers for you to think about.
the famous Roddy Piper line. Just when you think you got all the answers,
I
change the
question.
question.
Does anyone trust
What do you think, Nuxie?
Anyone trust Heyman?
What was that?
Does anybody trust Heyman? I think that Belle Biv DeVoe said it best: never trust a big butt and a smile.
Well, I've never really looked at Heyman's butt.
I'm not gonna pay attention to Heyman's butt.
I mean, I see where you're going, yeah, but no.
Work on his. Just know that the whole time he's coming out with his teeth that he's, oh, Jay, you're being groomed to be whatever. I don't think Jay and Jimmy will be broken up, but I think everything else is going to implode. I think once Roman loses Heyman, I think his whatever is going to drop, because let's face it, Roman was a star before all this happened, but
yeah,
Heyman could make one of us if he talked for us. A mid-carder, probably. I'm not saying I would be world champion or anything like that, but Heyman's magic.
Hey, worst case scenario, you're a mid-carder. Look at Curtis Axel. He can't talk to save his life.
Well, Curtis Axel also has no charisma, so
zero charisma, and he made him a champion.
Too. But as far as Heyman goes, you really don't know, is he pulling strings or is he really at the behest of Roman? And the thing with Roman's mic work's gotten so much better. He really doesn't necessarily need Paul to talk for him. It's good that he talks for him, but he don't need him per se.
Here's what I think. I think that we're supposed to think that Paul is all in with Roman and he's doing what Roman wants. But I think we're going to find out later down the line, behind the scenes, he's doing his own thing as well. So when the bloodline does crash down, he's had a backup plan the whole time. Maybe it'll be Brock, maybe it's Solo, maybe it's someone else. But
I think it's back to Brock.
I mean he's always thinking, he's always got a backup plan.
Said correctly. It's Brock.
Brock. Yeah.
but I remember, but this kind of dates back, I believe, when Brock made his comeback back. This was after he had the feud with John Cena. He kind of made a promo basically talking with Vince McMahon, basically talking about how even he wouldn't even trust himself. Paul Heyman, wouldn't even trust himself. So if he says that, you got to be watching your back.
But I think Roman is just getting too comfortable around Heyman, and Heyman's the main one kissing his butt. So, he should sense trouble there, but he's so into his own ego and thinking it's all about him, he's not even seeing the snakes around him.
I think Heyman is going to be the last piece to leave Roman probably during the match with Cody at WrestleMania.
Maybe.
We're gonna put some money up on that because that's not gonna happen. I'm telling you right now.
No.
I put money on nothing, not like that. But like I said, but notice during this whole time, other than maybe one or two references, we haven't shown concern for or even really mentioned Cody that deep as far as wrestling Roman. And that lets you know how well this bloodline storyline is going. That even though the match you want to see, it still can be there at some point next year. You're wrapped up in this storyline on this side.
Cody's ready. Brock at SummerSlam and Hell in a Cell, somebody suggested.
Yeah, and this actually kind of goes to something that I actually talked about just after WrestleMania. The big concern was you don't want to overbook Cody to the point where his whole act starts going stale and people don't care about him.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario would have been him winning the title, and then okay, what is Cody going to go from here? Because we've seen that same sad song with Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan, but either way, you don't want to leave somebody beating the champion who, by the way, has had a historic reign, and then leave them with nothing to do. That's the worst thing you could do.
Exactly.
It's going to be interesting to see how things play out from here going forward on both sides, on SmackDown and Raw, how they're going to eventually weave these storylines back central, which will probably be more likely Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber or something like that. So why don't you guys tell us and give us your comments on what you think? What do you think about the bloodline? What do you think about what's going on AEW and Impact? Be sure to hit that drop your comments below, hit the like button, share with your friends, hit that notification bell, and of course, most importantly, subscribe to the channel. And of course, you can always hit us on Instagram. Where at, Clint?
At Ringside right now.
All right, for the crew, as always, Clint, Curtis, Jonathan, and Calvin being off. I think he's in Rio covering a world intercontinental title match or something down in Rio, possibly. Who knows? But for next time, y'all join us here at Ringside right now. Ring the bell.